Hi, welcome. My name is Nuno and I work in the security field for a while now, and from what I've seen lately, there are a lot of attacks to web applications. Now, I want to give back to the community in a way. I want to help professionals that are working in small to medium-sized companies that do not have the budget to go around spending that money or thousands of dollars in web application firewalls or any other defense mechanisms. So this video is the way I can give back to the community, in a way. So we'll be using only open source technologies here. Now, you see a very, badly drawn sketch on your screen right now. And, let me give you the rundown of what we are actually seeing right here. So, we do have our green zone where we have every single computer or server that we trust in our network. And we do have a Kali machine that's right there connected to the internet. It's an attacker machine. It's a machine that we don't know who it is. It can even be a penetration tester. And then we have our demilitarized zone with a web server. Now, for this video, I will not be installing a proxy, or should I say a reverse proxy server. So I'll be installing the web application firewall directly on the web server. Now we'll be installing and configuring basically ModSecurity. Now you don't have to pay anything for ModSecurity. The company, I don't know exactly what company it was, I can't remember the name, but the source code of this project is open source and we can download it from GitHub and actually use it. Now, the web application server where we'll be installing ModSecurity is a Debian server, so it's Linux. We currently do not have any Windows machine. And we'll be using Parrot OS to provide a connection, or at least to connect to our web server, to configure the network firewall. And this firewall right here will be pfSense, but that's currently out of the scope of this video. So we'll be focusing on installing the WAF on our web server, and we'll see what maybe an attacker can do with a simple scan and what we can actually see from the logs. Now let's jump right into it. I'm currently on Parrot OS on my administrative machine, and we are connected through Secure Shell to our WAF server. Now, the command you see right here, I already inserted it, will provide us with information regarding this file, the error log, and we'll see that we can actually visualize bad requests when someone scans the web server. So let me try and run this command right now. You may already see a few bad requests. Now, I'll be leaving this command running for the time being, and I'll jump to Kali Linux. Now, Kali Linux is actually our attacker machine, and as you can see right here, cseg.pt is actually the web page that is running on our web server. And it's the web application we want to protect. Now, if we try to say scan this web application with Nicto, and of course if you're a penetration tester or an ethical hacker, please do not scan any kind of web application you don't have permission to. Okay, now that's just to get that out of the way. Now we're going to scan this web application. Of course, we're gonna have some output on our attacker machine, and if we look back at the logs that are generated, we can see requests that are invalid in a way. However, this does not provide any kind of protection, even though it gives us information. Now, let's try to protect this web application, shall we? Now, remember, you do need Git in order to follow along what we are going to do. And even if you're actually installing a web application firewall as a reverse proxy to protect another server, we can do that in another video, you will need Apache installed on your WAF. So right now we are going to install ModSecurity, and let me try to do apt install, and right now we're going to use lib apache 2 dash mod dash security 2. This is what we're going to insert to actually install the module that is ModSecurity. Press enter, and of course, yes, we want to install ModSecurity on this server. Now, it will only take a few seconds to install, and yes, you may be wondering, this machine does have internet access, but later we can remove any network connection since this machine is actually hosted on a demilitarized zone. It shouldn't have internet access, but that is a subject matter for another video. Now we are only focusing on our WAF. So once we install it, let me clear the screen for you. We must go to the ModSecurity folder. Now let me change to etc. and ModSecurity. When I enter this folder, from the files you can see we are going to copy this file, the modsecurity.conf-recommended, and we are going to configure modsecurity.conf without the dash recommended part. So I'm going to create a copy of the already existing file, and I'm going to just delete the excess we have right here and press enter. And of course, since we can confirm we do now have the modsecurity.conf, we are going to make just a little tweak to it. So I'm going to use nano to edit modsecurity.conf. I'm going to press enter, and inside this file we can find sec rule engine that is working in detection only mode. Now remember, detection only mode will not prevent a bad request from reaching your server and executing. It will only provide information. If you want to protect your web application, you do need something like this, sec rule, if I can write correctly, engine, oh my god, engine, and instead of having detection only, you need to set it to on. Now, if you make this change, every request that contains JavaScript or something that resembles SQL injection or SQL injection, you actually will be stopping that attack. Now, keep in mind, this is not a bulletproof vest. There are ways to go around a web application firewall. I'm going to save this document, I'm pressing enter and exiting. Now, we are not finished yet. We now have to go to our share folder. So I'm going to change to that folder. Change, user, and then share. Keep in mind, this folder is huge, does have a lot of other folders that are not important right now, and I'm going to list the contents. And as you can see, we do have a mod-crs folder right here. Now, I'm going to create a backup of this folder, but I'm not going to use the contents that are in that current folder, because we are going to download from OWASP the most recent rules to protect our web application. So I'm going to move this folder, and later when I'm downloading from GitHub the core rule set, we'll be recreating this specific folder. Now let's do that right now. So I'm going to say move ModSecurity-CRS, and we are going to, let's say, move this to ModSecurity-CRS.original, which was the original file, and we can see that it no longer retains the previous name it had. Of course, if you don't have Git on your server to perform the next part, you can always do apt install and git. Okay, it's something you can do on most Linux servers, but for the most part Ubuntu servers already have Git installed. In this server I already have it. So what are we going to do right now? We are going to open up a web browser. Let me open here Firefox. Oh, it was already open down here. So my bad. It was already open. So we are going to search for OWASP core rule set, and let me try to search. Oh, it's using DuckDuckGo. Well, I would prefer to use Google if you don't mind, and it's actually taking a lot of time to just open up the web page. Well, let's see if we have what we need. Even if you search in Google, usually the first link that you'll see will have OWASP ModSecurity core rule set, and that, oh my god, that's exactly what we want. Why can't I even highlight what I really want? Well, it's the first link, and I'm going to click it. And when the page opens, and it's taking a huge long time, maybe I still have my VPN connection open. That's the problem. I accept, and from this web page you can actually see on the right side you do have code repository right here and a link to the GitHub page. We're going to open GitHub. I'm going to click it, and then when it opens, we will be cloning the project to the ModSecurity-CRS folder. Okay, here we are. We do have a lot of content. We are not going to be bothered by this. We're just going to select code, and of course we're going to copy this URL right here. Please do not copy the above URL, okay? This is a mistake most of my students make. We are going to copy right here the .git link. I'm going to copy, going back to, oh sorry, I already had my connection right here, and I'm going to clone that project. So I'm going to do git clone, not clone, it's clone, and I'm going to paste this link, but I'll be also creating the folder to where we want to download the contents of this project. So I'm going to give it a space, and I'm going to write ModSecurity-CRS. So we are actually going to create the folder with the contents of this project. Pressing enter, give it just a few moments to download. It should be fairly quick, and now we are going to edit the files we need in order to ensure that it is working. Now let me enter in this new folder we just created, ModSecurity crs. Please do not make a mistake writing anything, because it can actually fail if you mistype or misspell anything. I'm going to list the contents, and now you can see crs-setup.conf.example. The same way we did before, we are going to copy that file and create a version that just says crs-setup.conf and nothing more. So we're going to do that right now. So we're going to copy crs-setup, and we are going to copy to crs-setup.conf. We're going to just remove that example. I'm going to press enter, and keep in mind I won't be doing any more configurations right here. And keep in mind one more thing. Sometimes rules can change, and they do change quite often. However, sometimes rules can be badly written, and you may need to change it, or in a way comment out a rule if that need arises. Now let's see what we can do right here. I'm going to clear the screen, and since ModSecurity is already edited, we already have that file, we are now going to edit the module file on Apache. So I'm going to change my directory again, and now we are going to etc Apache 2, and now it's mods enabled. And when we enter mods enabled, we can see that we do have security2.conf. Let's edit this file. Nano security2.conf. Press enter, and inside this module, what can we actually do? You do see include optional share ModSecurity.load, and we're going to copy this, and we're going to include the .conf file. So it's actually very similar to what we have right here, just with a few small modifications. So I'm going to give it an enter, paste this right here, and I'm going to paste it again, and we're going to do a small tweak to these files. So in the second one, I'm going to change load to conf, and in the last one, I'm going to add rules/.conf. So this is a folder that contains our rules, and this is exactly what we need. We're going to save this file, Control O, enter, and we're going to exit. And there is a huge possibility there is a single rule that can be badly written, and we may need to remove it. So we're going to restart our Apache 2 and see if we actually have a bad rule that we need to take care of. So I'm going to do Apache 2 and reload. Enter, and it failed. Great. This is awesome news. Let's see our journal. Journal CTL-XE. Enter, and let's see where it went wrong. And from what we can gather, the information process, if I can actually see anything, we should have a failure in a specific rule. I think I'm seeing this in a very big information. Let me just get a little farther away so I can actually see the details. Where, oh my god, it shouldn't actually happen that way. Let me try to restart the server. Systemctl restart, Apache 2. It should give me an error. So now journal space journalctl space -xe, and aha, here it is. This is what I was looking for. User share ModSecurity rules, and we have a request 922 multipartattack.conf. So what can we actually do? Let's try to, well, remove that rule for now. The scope of this video is not to actually validate if we can see or fix internal rules. We just want to configure our server and to make it functional. So I'm going to quit, and I'm just going to move that file as a backup. We can later go back to it and see what it does. So I'm going to move that specific file. So user share ModSecurity CRS rules, and we're going to actually move that 922 multi-part, and let's just say, well, I'm going to move it to another place right now. So home Synetic admin, and we no longer have that rule on that folder. So maybe we can say problem solved. Let's see if that actually solved the problem. So I'm going to restart the Apache 2 web server, enter, and if everything goes right, we won't have any error messages, and we shall execute nic2 again and see what we can actually see and validate if ModSecurity is working. Now, it's taking an awful lot of time to restart the Apache, but it did it without any errors. So we should be ready to go. Let me just validate status, and it's actually working. So let us execute tail again, like the first command that you saw during this video on var log apache 2 error.log. So we'll be monitoring this file. We probably have ModSecurity installed and configured, so we'll try and see if we can actually notice a difference right now. So I'm going to jump back to my Kali machine and log in again, and let's see. Well, no, I'm not going to do anything right now. We're going to just execute nic2 again and validate the output. Let's watch what we can see. And oh my god, I'm having a stroke. It does provide a lot more information, and it's actually blocking our requests. And you can actually, well, when it stops, you can actually see that ModSecurity is already warning about possible attacks. If you try to do everything we did right here against, let's say, a web form, and you try to submit a web form using cross-site scripting, you will receive an error, and that cross-site scripting code that you inject in the page will not execute. So this was just a quick overview on how you can actually implement a web application firewall freely without wasting money, and you can actually improve the security posture of your organization. And of course, keep in mind, there are ways you can actually bypass web application firewalls, but for the most part, it's better to have a web application firewall than not have any kind of at all. So I hope this has been informative for you, and later, maybe in another video, we can actually do this, but have the WAF become just the reverse proxy, and maybe we are trying to protect an internet information services in a Microsoft server. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this video helped you in any way, shape or form. So have a great week and keep on learning.